So picking up where we left off, we learned that we can trap for an error in this cell by using the isError function. So over here in this cell, just practicing with that function, we typed in isError and pointed at this cell. And sure enough, with an error there, Excel replied back from that function, true. In other words, yes, there is an error in this cell. So with that ability to trap for an error, we're going to move on and use the if function. Okay, so I'm still going to play with it a little bit here in this video, and then we'll finally put it all together in a final video. So I'm going to come over here just to the right of where we practice this isError function, and I'm going to start a new formula. I'm going to say equals if, and like I mentioned in the last video, rather than type the parenthesis, I'm going to use the tab key right now. And it assumed from that I wanted to use the top of those three possible functions, which was correct. That was the if function. So now I'm at if with a left paren. Now the test is what we did in this cell. The test was using the isError function to look at this cell. So I'm going to say if, now isError. Okay, see, so now I've got two selections down here. I can highlight the one I want, hit tab, and Excel completes using that function for me. So isError, I want to look at this cell. I'm trapping for this cell. I select it, close it with a right paren, and a comma to move on to the next thing we need to do in the if function. So I'm going to type a comma. So Excel's asking us, if that cell is an error, what do you want me to do? Well, I'm going to make this easy just to test the if function. I'm going to tell Excel, if it's an error, and say, oops. So I'm typing oops with an exclamation mark surrounded by quotations, because that's a text. That's text, it's not numeric. I'm going to hit comma. And Excel's now asking me, because this is bold, okay, what if it's false? What if there isn't an error? Well, if it's not an error, Excel, I want you to go ahead and give me the value that's in that cell. So I'm going to go back and click on it again. B16. So now I've got an if there is an error in B16. Type oops here where I'm building this formula. If not, just give me the value. Let's close it with a parenthesis. Hit enter. And sure enough, Excel has trapped for the error. We told it, if there's an error over here, print oops here. Well, let's fix that, because we also said if there isn't an error, we told it we want the actual value. So I'm going to go back up. We know that if we put an asterisk on the end of Bakersfield, Excel will find the tax rate for Bakersfield. So this error will go away, and this should become Bakersfield with an asterisk. The value, or pardon me, not Bakersfield with an asterisk, my bad. It's going to be this value, this tax rate. So let's see what happens if I hit enter. Sure enough, that's the tax rate. So as we look at this formula we just created, remember what we asked Excel. If there is an error in cell B16, it's this one right here. If there is an error, then type oops right here where this if statement is. If there's not an error, the third part of this function, then just show us the tax rate from that cell. Show us whatever's in that cell. In this case, it's sales tax rate for Bakersfield. So it did it. It returned the tax rate because we didn't have an error. Again, if we take this asterisk out and we get an error, this cell's going to say, oops. Let's hit enter. Watch what happens. Oops. So now we're armed with how to fix this sales tax rate cell such that when there's an error, we'll search for Bakersfield with an asterisk on the end. If there's not an error, well, then just show us the tax rate for Bakersfield. That's where we're going in the next video. See you there.